All right, we're recording this meeting now. Welcome to the Citywide Council for District 75's March Business and Calendar meeting. My name is Christy Angel, the president of our council. We are now starting this meeting at 6:35 p.m. Councilmember White, may we have a roll call?
Masuma Akhtar,
Present.
Rebecca Alley,
Present.
Stephanie Bonilla,
Present.
Joanna Gomez,
Present.
Elijah Hobbs, Fadaye Nassimi,
Present.
Giselle Ramirez, Jessica Rivera,
Present.
Sharon Stewart, Michelle White, present. 9 members present.
Wonderful. That means we do have quorum. Members, you have the agenda that is before you. Do we have any additions to this agenda at the moment? Seeing none, the agenda is adopted. Rules of decorum, council members, we do have that information. It has not been printed out, but we can send it back again. We just want you to know that everyone will get to speak at least once. Council members, we do have 2 minutes per council member to speak, and then you may add any secondary items that you may need to. With that being said, we do need to appoint a timekeeper. Guys, we do want to have fidelity with our meeting today. So does anyone want to be our timekeeper? I would ask that as we move through our time sections, if you can give us a 1-minute warning so that we can move in a timely fashion and manner on today. Do we have anyone that's...
This is VP Gomez. I'll do the timekeeping and I'll provide the warnings.
Thank you so very much. With that being said, we have a great, wonderful community-based organization, CIDNY, that is here to talk to us regarding some legislative things that we need to change fiscally regarding our school funding. Molly Cenac, are you there?
I am here, Christy. Thank you so much for having me. I am good to jump in if you guys are ready for me.
Absolutely. You may go ahead and screen share. Anthony, we can take down the agenda so she may do her presentation. You now have the floor, Molly. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I just want to make sure, can everybody see my screen all right?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so I am about to hit you guys with a lot of information, but I will leave room at the end for people to ask questions, and I'm going to try to go both as quickly and as clearly as possible while sticking to the time. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about foundation aid, and I'm going to explain what that is, the changes we are looking at, the way it's going to impact New York City schools, and what we are recommending we do to ensure that New York City schools are not impacted negatively. So, as Christy said, my name is Molly Cenac. I am with the Center for Independence of the Disabled New York, and we are a member of the Coalition for Equitable Education Funding, which is a coalition made up of over 120 organizations, all focused on supporting students, especially those with the highest needs in New York City. So today we are going to be talking about the state education budget, specifically foundation aid. Now, I know some people on this call might already be very familiar with what foundation aid is, but for those who aren't, I'm going to just run through it really briefly. First and foremost, it is the largest source of education funding that goes from the state to New York City public schools and to other school districts. Now, the important thing to know here is that when we are talking about school districts, this is state funding, and New York City counts as one district. So this is also, to be clear, even though they both start with F and there can be a little bit of confusion, this is very different from fair student funding, even though they work very similarly. But fair student funding is city funding that essentially determines how much each school gets. Foundation aid is state funding, and the formula is used to determine how much New York City schools get as a whole. So that education funding is distributed to New York City and to other school districts across the state through a funding formula that provides funding for each student. So like foundation aid, or pardon me, like Fair Student Funding, it is a per pupil funding formula. And we'll get into a little bit more about how that math works out. But first, let's talk about how much funding it actually provides. Foundation aid provides about $26.4 billion to districts across the state. At least it did this year. And around 10.4 billion of that goes to New York City public schools, which amounts to about 25% of New York City public schools budget. It's used for school budgets and it's used for education programs. This is incredibly flexible funding, which is why it is so critical that New York City does not lose it. Here are some examples of all of the things that foundation aid funding can be and has been used for. I know that this is a long list, so I'm not going to go through all of it because I know time is important, but like just looking at this list, we can see bilingual programming, we can see preschool special education, we can see shelter-based coordinators, we can see restorative justice. There are a lot of things on this list that have an incredibly high impact on New York City public school students. So as I said, we're going to talk a little bit about how the formula works. And the single most important thing I say when talking about this formula is that this is an incredibly complicated formula, and that does not matter. You do not need to understand exactly like how the formula works to establish how much a student's education costs. That is like, it's pages and pages of trees and following what funding goes where. You don't need to know that as long as you understand the basics. Generally, what I say to people is you don't need to know how to build a house to know if the roof is leaking. So the most complicated part of the formula, the intricate thing that I don't understand, but I trust the people who made it. That formula sets the base amount per student, or the amount that it should cost to educate the average student. That base funding is then adjusted to account for a couple of things: inflation, regional cost differences, so how much it costs to educate a student in one part of the state versus another, and student need. So there are a couple of things that will give students an extra bump in the formula. That's students living in poverty, students with disabilities, and English language learners. All of those things get an extra little boost mathematically. But again, that funding, once it is all added up, it gets distributed to schools and it doesn't need to necessarily be spent on each student specifically. After that formula is worked out, New York State determines what a district's minimum local contribution is, and then that amount is subtracted. So how did we get here? I'm not going to go through all of this because the most important things you can see are the dates. Basically, in 1993, some people realized that, hey, maybe the way we fund education isn't necessarily equitable. In 2007, this lawsuit was finally settled. The foundation aid formula was created. And again, this is a formula built to establish educational equity to establish equity in education funding. So again, like that's why this is a complicated formula, because equity should be like mathematically a little bit complex. What is not complex is the fact that this was settled in 2007. The state repeatedly failed to fund the foundation aid formula. And as of 2023, congratulations, we got our fully funded foundation aid formula for the first time. Now, that's a very big deal. It's really good that we did get that formula funded. However, remember back in 2007 when we won that lawsuit? The formula has not changed since 2007. So just as a little refresher about what things were like in 2007, Obama just announced he was running for president, did not become president. He announced he was running. I'm assuming a lot of people are holding iPhones. Congratulations. When this formula is from, that is when the very first iPhone was released. and Twitter was only a year old. Now, since all of those things have happened, obviously quite a few things have changed in New York City public schools. So, for instance, we had COVID. We have had a youth mental health crisis. We have had a rise in student homelessness. There has been an increase in community schools. We have seen new learning standards. Technology has changed somewhat in the last 19 years. We have a new class size law. We've added 3K and pre-K. And we have more students and more children who are being diagnosed with autism. So clearly, as we can see, this formula has not kept up either with rising costs and with changing student needs. Now, in addition to that, 20 some years ago, New York State and New York City were contributing around the same amount to New York City's education budget. However, now the city is contributing 59%, and the state is only contributing 36%. Now, last year, the state said that it would re-examine the formula and update it. The Rockefeller Institute did a study, they released a report. It was a very long report, and it mentioned a lot of possible changes. However, the governor proposed only a couple of changes. One is a change to the weight for low-income students, and one was a change to the weight for students in poverty. There was another weight that did end up being very beneficial, which was a very small increase to the weight for English language learners from 0.5 to 0.53, which gave us a little bit more money. However, those very limited challenges, the first two, specifically the change in the poverty weight, that resulted in New York City schools receiving $314 million less than they would have received had the state made no changes to the formula at all. So, as I said, this is primarily due to an update in the poverty weight, which uses the federal poverty guidelines and measures poverty the same way in every school district across New York, even though obviously costs look very different in different parts of the state. And for anybody wondering what the federal poverty guideline is, it is around $32,000 for a family of four. The median cost for a one-bedroom apartment in New York City is over $40,000 a year. So clearly, this is not an accurate way to reflect what costs are in New York City. And that is what the foundation aid formula, as of right now, is using. So the impact on New York City schools is that we lost funding that was intended for low-income students, even though we've got 154,000 students who are experiencing homelessness, around 680,000 students who are economically disadvantaged, and 44% of New York City families with children had trouble affording food. So needless to say, we cannot afford to lose this funding. Now, in the governor's current budget proposal, the one she released back in January, once again, she recommends fully funding the foundation aid formula, which is great. However, she is not proposing any changes to the formula that would impact New York City. And as a result, because we are keeping the same formula from last year we lost around $314 million. This year, we are expected to lose around $250 million. So just to be clear, we are still technically going to see an increase in foundation aid, but we are going to see an increase that is around $250 million less than it would have been. So that is essentially like saying, like if your boss promises you a raise and then tells you at the last second, actually, just kidding, that raise is going to be $250 million less than we told you it was going to be. It is impossible for schools to budget like that. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what state leaders can do. Obviously, we want to better capture student need, and we are recommending two things for that. One is we want to see an update to the regional cost index, and one is we want to add a per pupil weight for students who are homeless and students in foster care. I'm going to explain really quickly what both of those are. So the regional cost index, or RCI, is meant to account for differences in salaries in different regions of New York State. Remember back when we were like, wow, 2007 was so long ago. This data is from 2006. Costs have changed pretty significantly across the state since 2006. Um, Last year, this is something that both the Senate and Assembly looked at, and we want them to look at it again this year and include it in their One House budgets.
3 minutes remaining.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So this is how, like, I'm not going to get into all of this, but these are the bill numbers and how much funding would actually go to schools if it were passed. If you are interested, please let me know. And the other thing that we talked about is adding a weight for students who are homeless and students in the foster care system. As of right now, the formula does not include any added funding for these students. 60 for, again, more stats. I won't go into them now because I want people to have time to ask questions, but we can see that a significant portion of New York City schools have student populations who are homeless or in foster care. We do acknowledge that other changes are needed, specifically higher rates for ELLs in the formula. But those two things, updating the regional cost index and the added way for students who are homeless or students living in foster care, are our two main things. And with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and I am going to answer questions. I know that was a ton of information, so I am always happy to also do follow-ups.
Council members, if you'd like to have the floor for any questions, if you could please either raise your hand electronically or in person so that I can give you the floor. Do any council members have any questions? If not, we will still have Molly at our Q&A at the end of the calendar meeting. If any parents have questions, we want to still leave space for them to ask questions.
Great.
We do
If it
not
is,
have, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, if it is all right, I am also dropping a link in the chat, which will connect you to a call script and to a list of phone numbers. The One House budgets come out next week. We are trying to reach 100 calls to senators. It's very easy. If anybody doesn't like being on the phone, everyone is, you're going to get voicemails right now. But there's a call tracker in there too. So please, and thank you so much for allowing me this time.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Molly. We know that you are a wonderful friend to our community and to the council, so we thank you. We will absolutely be following up with you to make sure that we have the support and are supporting you, our children legislatively, especially as we move into our legislative breakfast. Council members, we have a resolution that was submitted in our last meeting with Molly, and we wanted to. One second. We wanted to make sure that we have that pulled up. Anthony, would you be able to pull up our resolution in support of the information that Molly has presented on today?
That one's 28, right?
Yes.
Sure, 1 second.
All righty. Recording Secretary White, would you be able to read this resolution?
Sure. Resolution number 28, resolution in support of fully funding the foundation aid formula with key changes. Whereas foundation aid is the largest source of funding from New York State to New York City public schools and school districts across the state and is distributed through a per student funding formula. Whereas the foundation aid formula was intended to ensure school districts have the resources needed to provide students with a sound basic education and to ensure equitable distribution of funding to districts around the state. Whereas following years of advocacy, Governor Hochul and the New York State Legislature fully funded the foundation aid per pupil funding formula for the first time in 2023. Whereas the formula itself is currently outdated, remaining mostly unchanged since it was first adopted in 2007, using certain data from more than 15 years ago and failing to account for growing student needs and costs. Whereas the limited changes made in the final NYS fiscal year 2026 budget resulted in New York City schools receiving $314 million less than they would have received had the state made no changes to the formula at all. Whereas the shortfall is largely due to an update to the poverty weight without updates to other key measures, a poverty weight that relies on the grossly inadequate federal poverty guidelines measuring poverty the same way in every school district across New York, even through costs look very different in different parts of the state. Whereas the formula's regional cost index is supposed to account for the varying costs throughout the state, but the values for most regions have not been updated since 2006. Whereas it is becoming increasingly difficult for families to be able to afford to live in NYC, and the formula has not been updated to help school districts pay for increased wages and growing costs and expenses. Whereas last school year, more than 154,000 NYC students experienced homelessness. Students experience homelessness as well as students in foster care face significant barriers to education, but the formula provides no additional funding to help school districts meet their unique educational needs. Therefore, be it resolved that the citywide council for District 75 calls on Governor Hochul and the New York State Legislature to fully fund the foundation aid formula with key changes, including an update to the RCI and an added per pupil weight for students in temporary housing and students in foster care. Therefore, be it resolved that CCD 75 calls on Governor Hochul and the New York State Legislature to make additional updates and changes to the formula to ensure that it meets the needs of today's schools and students, including students who need additional support to succeed in school. Therefore, be it resolved that CCD 75 will continue to advocate and keep our community informed of events and opportunities for advocacy.
Thank you so much. Council members, seeing what's been uplifted and presented by Molly Sinak, we are finally able to pull this resolution in front of our community and better. Do we have any questions and or considerations for this resolution? And do we have a motion to adopt?
No questions from the members present. I make a motion to adopt resolution number 28.
Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you so much. Recording Secretary White, may we move into a roll call vote?
Rebecca Alley,
Yes.
Masuma Akhtar,
Yes.
Christy Angel,
Yes.
Stephanie Bonilla,
Yes.
Joanna Gomez.
Yes.
Elijah Hobbs, Badaye Nasimi,
Yes.
Jessica Rivera,
Yes.
Giselle Ramirez, Sharon Stewart,
Yes.
Michelle White, yes.
I believe that is all our
9.
council. That is 9. That gives us over quorum. The resolution 28 has passed. Thank you, council members, for supporting fully funding the Foundation 8 formula with key changes. We are now moving over to our next agenda item, which should be the presentation of proposed final budget adjustments. Treasurer Rebecca Alley, can we pull the budget on the screen? Council members, we have the budget as it is according to March 2nd. If you have reimbursements that you have not sent in, please make sure that we get your monies back to you. I know it's a lot traveling back and forth to meetings and different spaces where we need you for the council. So we do want to make sure that we use our budget and that you're accommodated and accommodated fairly and accurately in a timely fashion. With that being said, Treasurer Alley, if you can walk through the budget and then the proposed changes. Thank you.
Okay, so for our treasury report for March, as you can see, the P card line of 763 and the equipment line general, the 763 and the 808, we moved it to other administrative consultants. The total amount we moved was 2129. For member reimbursements, we paid out $6,225. It leaves a balance to date of $8,075. Give me a minute. And I think that would be for what we did last month, what we voted for on last month. If I'm correct. So right now, the motion, I move to approve the budget with the amendments as presented. 875 for parent reimbursement move to administrative account, consultant. That would be from August to December for our council member Fadaya. The second motion to move is $125 for the August parent reimbursement to the administrative consultant line for 125, and that would be for the month of August. And 1,500 in the student membership reimbursement, because we don't have a student this year, to our administrative consultants. Do I
Second that.
have any motion to move that?
Could we say what that total amount is for those
Oh,
three
I'm
items that
sorry.
would be?
The total amount would be 2,500. Being moved to the other administrative consultant line.
Do we have thank you so much, Treasurer Alley. Before we move into a motion, do we have any questions about what has been presented?
That would be it.
What will be the total for the
One
other
moment, please. We have a
administrative?
council member's hand risen. Jessica Rivera, you have the floor.
Hi, good evening. Yes, I motioned to table, because I know at our last meeting, we discussed having an annual report meeting, right? Having that meeting and then I think going back into this, I think that was what was discussed per our last meeting. So I just want to hold to that.
Thank you for that feedback. Council members, we do want to make sure that we reiterate in our last meeting, we did state that this is the meeting where we do have to move all of our final numbers for the budget. So we would have to make a vote on today to move monies, just to give you a little bit more feedback. Vice President Bonilla, you do have the floor.
What will be the total of the other administrative consultant after the movement of that has been
120.
proposed?
I believe that would be
29.
629. Wait a minute, 65,
Wait.
629.
Let me just-
6,620.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would be 4129 plus
6,129.
the 2,500.
Yes. 6,000.
Okay,
Yes, that's.
and
Hold on.
I can't even take credit.
2,129. That's no. 29.
Yeah, 4129 plus 2,500. So that's 6,629.
6,629 will be the total amount in the administrative consultant once it's given the approval to move it.
no problem.
Do we have
Um,
any additional questions from council members
I
regarding
just-
the budget?
I-
We want to make
I
sure that
just-
all council members have a first round of questions first. We will definitely come back to you to make sure that your second question is asked. Do any members that have not spoken have any questions before we give Vice President Bonilla opportunity? Councilmember Assini, yes, please, you have the floor.
Me, yeah. I just want to confirm, I forget the gentleman's name who did confirm that if we didn't move the funds, we would lose them. So it's important that we make those decisions quick.
Our senior grants officer is
Yeah.
who you're referring to, yes. And we actually are in an extension. This was supposed to be done on March 2nd, but today is the day that we would need to move those items forward to permanently move them. Does any other council member have a question before we go back to Vice President Bonilla? If not, you have the floor. Bonilla.
I just want to say I'm willing to move with the motion, but we had also agreed to do the annual report meeting before this meeting. That way we could be more comfortable with moving items. So I just would like to still meet with the annual committee consultant, just to get more guidance as to who they are.
That absolutely
Thank you.
will Yeah, thank you so much. That absolutely will happen. We do want you guys to be a part of the annual report committee. As you know, every committee does have to write an end of year report. So we all have our pieces that we will need to add on. We do want you to be familiar with the parts that we're putting in. We did discuss that she was paid $5,000 last year, and that was not really a lot for someone who is doing the research and data that we need. So we're only, in hindsight, adding $1,129. So just in balancing what that looks like from then into now, where we can do compare and contrasting. And I would love for everyone to be a part of that. We're going to try to have that meeting this month. We have reached out and we can try to find a date that works for all members. Hopefully, if it's in the afternoon or if it's in the evening, it'll probably be evening because it's West Coast, but we'll make sure that everyone feels comfortable as we move forward through the process. With that being said, do we have a motion to adopt the amendment? One moment. Councilmember Rivera, did you have another feedback?
I motion to adopt the amendment for the change.
Thank you so much. Do we have a second?
I second to adopt the change.
Thank you so much. Recording Secretary White, may we go into a roll call vote?
Rebecca Alley,
Yes.
Masuma Akhtar.
Yes.
Christy Angel,
Yes.
Stephanie Bonilla,
Yes.
Joanna Gomez.
Yes.
Elijah Hobb, Badaye Nasimi,
Yes.
Jessica Rivera,
Yes.
Giselle Ramirez, Sharon Stewart,
Yes.
Michelle White, yes. 9 votes for yes.
The motion has passed. The budget has been approved with amendments. Thank you so much, council members, for your debate and process in moving this item forward. We may now move forward to the next item on the agenda, which is our committee updates. I can move really quickly through mine for outreach. We do have an outreach committee meeting that is coming up. I will drop that into the chat. It's also on our social media and on ccd75.org, where you may register. This is a meeting about understanding your free support options with District 75 families. They have different IEP progress concerns or therapies or assessments and things of that nature. We know that sometimes there's different places where our children may not get what they need, so we want to make sure that you have what you need in moving forward in all of your steps, and a lot of great free resources that will be on March 10th, 2026 at 11 a.m. And it will be a lunch and learn. If you miss it, it's okay. It will be recorded and it will be available on CCD 75 Outreach on YouTube. We have our CUNY, sorry about the music in the background. We have our CUNY Fair paraprofessional informational, on March 24th. That's coming up in Manhattan, and that will be on. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm literally on our Instagram to quickly pull this up. Forgive me. This is what happens when you don't have the AA and multitask.
I can help you. It's on Tuesday, March 24th at
Thank you.
250 West Houston Street. The school is called, I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's 250 West Houston, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 on Tuesday, March
7:21
24th.
M.
Yeah.
Yes. And guys, this is good. We have like over 600 people. I haven't looked at the most updated number, but this is going to be a really impactful, huge meeting. We're grateful for the work that has been moving forward in that space. We do have some spaces where we are looking for a theater workshop that will be coming into outreach workshops in addition to OPWDD. So please do look forward for those items. In addition, our home instruction working group, thank you, council members, for the work that you've been doing in those spaces and district. We are looking to repeat a home instruction meeting where we will be going through Regulation Chancellor's Regulation A170. These are items that were brought up in our resolution that we voted on, Aaron and Christian's promise. These are items that we are making sure we have fidelity with. And so far, so good. We are bringing everything hopefully to a close within this March month. So I'm very grateful for that work. And we'll be able to show you guys some of that stuff soon. I know that Councilmember Rivera may want to speak to that as well. So we'll give you 2 minutes after we move through the additional council updates. So without anything else that can come to the top of my mind, I do want to go ahead and give the floor over to our legislative committee. Councilmember White, do you want to give updates, or can I assist you, or you have the floor?
Please give the updates. I'm trying to type everything.
All righty, guys. So we are in crunch time. What we're going to be doing between now and Friday is giving out the updated call lists. So those of you who are available to make phone calls, yes, you may get a voicemail. It is okay. We are going to be doing 3 rounds of follow-ups before we get to March 23rd for our legislative breakfast. But what we do want to do is try to find wiggle room to have a legislative meeting. We want to make sure that if you guys have a keynote speaker or a legislator that you definitely want to speak, let us know. We want to make sure we have a format for the legislative breakfast, but we want to make sure to include everyone and the voices, and you know what action items that we will be uplifting. So let's make sure on the back end that we make that a priority to pull in our legislative meeting. Councilmember White has been doing a great job of updating. We've been meeting and going through, and I'm very proud, as I said, of the work that she's doing. We now need you guys to step in. I can make phone calls. I know she can make phone calls. If you are able and willing, I know Councilmember Rivera has done it with us before. We will need you on the phones to make sure we have bodies present so that our resolutions don't fall flat, so that our advocacy doesn't fall flat, and people can understand what we do need in support of our district. The next committee would be annual report. We're going to try to see how we can pull both of those in this month. If we can't, we'll try for April for annual report, but legislative is more important. I hope that we all are in that priority push. If not, we can try to pull those up in a space that works for everyone. We are pulling in items that we need. If you want to start working on your committee reports, if your committees have not started, talk to me. Let's work on it. It's okay the first year that we get in that people don't feel comfortable and they may need a little bit of help. Let's work on that. And then by the time we hit the ground running for July, it can be a different story. If we do have meetings, guys, that are committee meetings that we cannot commit to, it is important that you give us prior notice so that we can cancel in a timely fashion. We are all District 75 parents. I know we have real life going on, but we want to make sure that we keep integrity with the community that we're serving with the committees. With that being said, we are now moving into hiring committee. Jessica Rivera, do you have any updates that you'd like to give?
Not at this time, but hopefully very soon.
Well, guys, I'll say we finally aren't frozen anymore. The posting for the AA is up. So anybody here, if you know someone that really can do well with our council, please let us know. This is an ad hoc committee. Councilmember Rivera is chairing that committee as she has done before. She will be working with Councilmember Fadaye, who is our HR specialist and Medicaid specialist in the House. Thank you so much. So they're gonna narrow down the resumes. Now, you guys can also see what they're narrowing down, but it's going to be an entire process, and we'll be able to walk you through what we've done before. Councilmember Rivera, we can talk about it, or you can kind of look through what we've done and kind of pull people back into those spaces, interviews, etc. of that nature. Councilmember Bonilla, you are up safety, busing, and capacity and utilization.
Good evening, everyone. For capacity and utilization meeting, it will be on March 11 at 6 p.m. Our busing meeting will be on March 30th at 6 p.m. And I am still working on a date for our safety meeting committee. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If we can, somebody drop in ccd75.org. That is the phrase that pays. We do have those meetings that we have mentioned tonight up on our website so that you may go there now or later and make sure that you register for this good information and or get to participate. Our committee meetings are open to all of our families in District 75. We would love you to be able to serve. As you see, Fadaye is a prime example of that. Showed up to a meeting, was willing to serve, was voted in, and now she is doing the work. So we want to make sure that you advocate in whatever space that you can, and we are here to serve you. I don't believe that we have any additional updates. Just to let you know, March 20th is our Chancellor Town Hall. Please make sure we are saving the date for that. Do we have any new business?
No. None from the members present. No.
All righty, with no new business, do we have a motion to, do I have a hand? Did I see a hand go up? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn? One
This is,
moment. We're in the middle of the motion, but I see second vice president. Technically, in the middle of a motion, we don't take the feedback, but I'll make an exception because you did raise your hand. Did you want to state something, or were you trying to vote for the adjournment? Bonilla.
There's a for the safety resolution, if it could be presented.
Unfortunately, it was not given in time before the meeting, so we were not able to give it out to council members. So that will actually have to be postponed for our next meeting.
The resolution has been shared previously with the members already.
The update was not given nor provided to us, therefore it wasn't on the agenda. At the top of the agenda before we adopted it, it was not included either. So unfortunately, it will have to be added.
There
into
was
the
no I had asked for feedback and update, none was given back. And I was also able to send over to Face to look over, and
No, I
everything
do
looks.
hear you. In following protocol, it did not get here in time for the meeting, and
It
it was
has been
not a part.
there, is
It
what
was
I'm
not a part of
stating.
the agenda. And as we are
It
moving
is part of
into,
the
thank you
agenda.
so much. You are out of order. We are
And
now
point
moving.
of order
Thank you so
is
much.
that the item is in the agenda. So
Point
please
of
raise our agenda up,
Point of
Mr.
order raised,
Aguilar.
and the item is not in the agenda. Thank you.
Please
Do we
raise,
have? Thank you so much, council member. If you can come to order, please, and mute.
please raise our agenda up.
Thank you so much. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Please raise our agenda.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I have a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? Do we have a
I'll
second?
The
Thank you so
item
much.
is in the
The business
agenda.
meeting, council member, please come to order. You do not have the floor. Thank you so much. Please do mute.
Again,
We are
the
now,
item is
council
in the
member, this is
agenda.
we
Please
are moving
raise
in
the
governance.
agenda
I
up.
do not want to have to mute you. So please do
Yeah.
come to order. You do not have the floor.
And I'm
We
also
have
raising a
adjourned.
point of
Thank you
order.
so much.
So the
Thank you so
agenda,
much, council member. You are out of order. Thank you. It is now 7:16 p.m. We are now moving into our calendar meeting. And also, let me pause for a second because I am remiss. We do have interpreters here. We have Spanish, Bangla, and Mandarin. So I would like to give a quick moment for them to give their interpretations for any people who have been here in the chat. My apologies. I do want to make sure we have equity. So if we do have a quick moment, Mandarin, you have the floor to quickly give your instructions. My apologies. Do we have a Mandarin interpreter that's able to? There you go. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what instruction you want me to?
If you want to go ahead and just give the instructions for the language lines again. I know we put it in the chat, but I
Oh,
didn't give
okay,
you guys
sure.
an opportunity to
speak
do
it
that.
out. OK, all right. 大家好，我们如果是需要听国语的这个热线呢，请拨打347-966-4114，然后拨用 ID 是121-626-9159。再重复一次347-966-4114，ID 号码是121-626-9159。The Mandarin announcement is complete.
Thank you so much. Our Spanish interpreters, you have the floor to give your instructions.
Yes. The following message will be given in Spanish. Para escuchar la interpretación en español, por favor marque desde una línea telefónica al 347-966-4114 y luego marque el ID o PIN de conferencia 818-270 133 seguido de la tecla de número. Una vez más, si usted desea escuchar la interpretación en español, marque desde una línea telefónica al 347-966-4114 y luego marque el ID o código de conferencia 818-270-133 seguido de la tecla de número. Recuerden mantener sus micrófonos en silencio para evitar los ruidos de fondo y la interrupción de la interpretación. Gracias. The Spanish announcement has been completed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bengali, you have the floor to give your instructions.
Following messages will be in Bangla participants. শুভ সন্ধ্যা সবাইকে। আপনারা যদি অনুষ্ঠানটি বাংলায় শুনতে চান তাহলে অনুগ্রহ করে ডায়াল করবেন আপনার মুঠোফোন থেকে 34796641114 এবং সেখানে আইডি চাইলে দিবেন 864308 এবং সবশেষে পাউন্ড চিহ্নটি। আমি নাম্বারটি আবারও বলছি 34796641114 এবং সেখানে আইডি চাইলে দিবেন 864308 এবং সবশেষে পাউন্ড চিহ্নটি। আপনাদের যদি কোনো ধরনের প্রশ্ন থেকে থাকে তাহলে আপনারা চ্যাট বক্সেও দিতে পারবেন অথবা ফোনেও জিজ্ঞাসা করতে পারবেন। তাছাড়া কোনো প্রশ্ন না থাকলে অনুগ্রহ করে মিউট করে রাখবেন। ধন্যবাদ। Bengali announcement is completed.
Thank you so much. Councilmember White, may we go into a roll call vote? Excuse me, a roll call, excuse me.
I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Okay.
Time.
Masuma Akhtar,
Present.
Rebecca Alley,
Yes.
Christy Angel,
Yes.
Stephanie Bonilla. Stephanie Bonilla. You have to unmute her.
Looking for her.
Well, we know that she's present. We're not gonna mark her absent.
But I'm also muted, so I can unmute.
You're speaking, so you're not muted. Let's mark her present.
It asks me to unmute.
Joanna Gomez.
Present.
Elijah Hobbs, Badaye Nassimi,
Here.
Giselle Ramirez, Jessica Rivera,
Here.
Sharon Stewart. Here. Michelle White, present.
Thank you so much. I do see someone said in the chat that the motion for adjournment wasn't voted on. Technically, you don't have to motion to adjourn, but if you want to go back to the adjournment, we can, but we can note that we did not vote, but it was not needed to be a vote. We can note that under parliamentary procedure. All right. So moving forward, we are now in our calendar portion of the meeting. Are we able to pull the agenda back up just so I can be able to follow along? Anthony, are we there? All right. Timekeeper, are you willing to remain the same?
Yes.
All right. Council Member White, do you want to quickly go over the minutes that we have, or council members, were you able to review the minutes? This is not something that we need to vote on. If you have looked at them, if you have any items that you would like to have edited, please do move that forward. These are living documents. Your edits can always be pushed through. Do we have anyone that has not had an opportunity to review the minutes?
No.
No.
All righty, so the minutes are approved with any edits that may need to go in with it. Please do look over any notes that you may have, double check what we do have. Second Vice President Bonilla, you have your hand raised. You have the floor.
The minutes when I shared in the email that we got today.
All righty, so Councilmember White, would you be able to pull those minutes up so that we can go ahead and walk through council members with those minutes just for integrity of the meeting?
One second. I'm slow. Give me a second. Okay. So I'm gonna email it to the D75.
Put it up, share it on the screen.
Say it again.
As,
She's on
okay.
first.
Are you able, Anthony, are you able to pull up those minutes? Let me see. I may be able to do it really quickly for us. Let me pull up, let me see what I have. I can pull them in the chat possibly. If I pull them in the chat, maybe you guys can share them from there. We can do that really quickly. We want to keep integrity for that. Hold on one moment. And also just for the background, I'm seeing that I'm getting a lot of text messages regarding the agenda. There was an edit to the agenda prior to us moving forward. So while we get to new business, council members, please keep it in your mind if you do want to leave space to go ahead and go back to the safety agenda. It was not given to us ahead of time. I'm not going to debate about that. However, that's why it was removed. If you want to move forward with giving Vice President Bonilla the floor to pull it out, I know this is something that is definitely good for our community. I just want to move in a timely fashion so that we make sure that the members that are present are able to not get pressed out of the building in a timely manner. Again, let me see. Michelle, are you able, or is anyone able other than myself? I can pull in February minutes. Tell me if you see these in the chat, and then you'll be able to share. I have February. It's February, January that we need to do, or is it February, January, December, guys?
It's
It's
February.
February.
I have it right
January,
here.
February? Okay. Michelle, this may not be the one that you have already given to me last Sunday where we did the edit, so forgive me if I have the wrong copy, but this is technically the draft of the correct minutes. However, if there's any changes at the top header level of who our timekeeper was and things of that nature, we've made edits. So let's quickly screen share.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Councilmember White, would you like to briefly go through these February minutes?
There we go. Okay, call to order, 6:43 PM, President Christy Angel, roll call, 6:44 PM, Secretary M. White, appointment of timekeeper, 6:45 PM, was, Speaker Angel for Vice President Gomez as timekeeper. Presentation of Resolution 28, resolution in support of fully funding the foundation aid formula with key changes. Unanimous consensus to postpone the March meeting with CDNY presentation. Number 5, Town Hall with the Chancellor location, confirmation for 2026. It'll be located at Haran School, with a roll call vote of 9 for yes. 6, motion to approve purchase of technology, motion to postpone by Vice President Jay Gomez, second by Advocate E. Hobbs, roll call vote, 9 yes. To postpone. Committee updates, home instruction working group, Councilmember Jay Rivera, projected finalization parent guide and orientation video, 2/12/26, presentation of escalation protocols. B, Safety Committee, second Vice President Bonilla. Future meeting initiatives with presentation from School Safety Director Terrell on safety oversight practices, monitoring, data tracking, and accountability systems. C, Capacity and Utilization Committee, second Vice President Stephanie Bonilla. Finalizing frameworks to review capacity and utilization. Next meeting, 2/11 at 6 PM. Busing Committee, second Vice President Bonilla. Next meeting, 2/23 at 6 PM. Outreach Committee, President C. Angel. Upcoming workshops. 10, motion to adjourn by Vice President Jay Gomez at 7:19 PM, second by Councilmember M. Akhtar. February, Business Council meeting called to order 7:19. President Angel, roll call 7:19. Recorded Secretary M. White, appointment of timekeeper 7:20. C. Angel for Vice President Gomez. Motion to approve minutes as received. Consensus. Treasury report. President C. Angel updates and reallocation of funds. Motion to reallocate equipment general 59178 to the other administrative consultant line item in the report. A, motion by Secretary M. White, motion to approve. Second by second Vice President Bonilla. Roll call vote 9 yes. Number 6, motion to reallocate remaining P card balance plus or minus the 1,500 because we don't know how much is left in the account. Local travel, 500, and Franklin, 300 to the other administrative consultant line item in the report. Motion by Secretary M. White, motion to approve the combined allocation of plus or minus 2,300, second by Vice President Jay Gomez. Roll call vote 9 yes, 0 no. President's report and updates. 8, District 75 administration report. Given by Dr. McCoy, Dr. Hoggart, Shelley Kleinberg, Patricia Oliver, Nora Aldemovar, sorry, Nora. Public comment, Beverly Modano, parent, Stan Mahoney, D75 parent rep, Angela Torres, Delia Sanchez, Craig Spencer, Steve Najima, Katie Dia, adjourned, motion by Jay Gomez at 8:46 PM, second by Councilmember M. White. Release interpreters.
And then for the January one, we can just go through the bullet points 1 through 6 without, we can see what's in
Okay.
front of us, so we don't necessarily, so you don't have to necessarily read through, but I appreciate your effort.
Wow.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. Do we have the January business minutes that we can, minutes that we can go over really briefly as well, since we did not distribute those with council members? Councilmember White?
Sounds good.
Oh, okay. Call to order, 6:42 PM, roll call, 6:42 PM, appointment of timekeeper, Jay Gomez, OLA presentation, Robert Williams, vacancy interviews and vote, motion to approve resolution number 27, motion for legislative breakfast dates, motion to approve resolution number 26, committee updates, unfinished business. Motion to adjourn by M. White at 7:41 PM. Call to order, roll call, 7:41 PM, appointment of timekeeper. Jay Gomez, minutes will be approved in February, treasury report, R. Alley. President's report, superintendent report, public comment, and adjourn motion at 8:32 PM.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. Thank you, Councilmember White. You guys have seen the January and February minutes. If you have any additional edits, please do let us know. These are on our website currently now in draft form, and they will be updated shortly after we have any additional edits, or if not. Our next space that we are moving, council members, I know that we just had a little tense moment. We want to make sure that we keep it within rules of decorum. If you have the floor, if you do not have the floor, please do not come off of mute, etc. As we move forward, I have had enough council members on the background. I believe in the minority voice. I do want to make sure that we move in governance. If things are supposed to be given to the council prior to, we want to make sure that that is happening so that we can move in a procedural order. With that being said, the wrong agenda was put out. So in giving respect to that space that the safety resolution was pushed forward in the misprint, we will go ahead and give Second Vice President Bonilla the floor for 2 to 3 minutes to read her resolution. We don't have it to present. You may have to put it in the chat so that we can show members. Anthony, do you have a copy of the resolution?
Not with not with new edits. I have the old version.
It was supposed to be.
Stephanie, do you have a link that you can send me that I can try to share, or can we drop it in the chat or anything? Vice President Bonilla, do you want to go ahead and wait to bring that into new business so it gives you an opportunity to pull that up and we move forward with the district updates and give you the opportunity to pull that forward?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Then we'll go ahead. I will actually bring my president's updates a little bit later because I see we're in 7:33. So I'll bring my updates after we go ahead and allow the district to move forward. With that being said, I would love to go ahead and give the floor over to our superintendent, Dr. McCoy.
Good night, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is staying warm. I'll wait to share the screen. Thank you guys for letting me come on and say a few words. Hope everyone made it through that snowstorm and that cold weather. All right. All right, so I'm going to begin. Let's get that first. So as you see, there's a picture there with me and the Queensborough president. I was at his inauguration. I actually reside in Queens, so he's my borough president. So it was great to see him and meet him. Let's go to the second slide, Miss Oliver, please. All right, awesome. So I'm going to go through some updates and then Dr. Huggard will share after. All right, so February 2nd, I had the honor of joining one of the superintendents from District 29 and another superintendent from District 79 and 29. And we went to see the inauguration at the with the Queensborough president. It was a great time. He shared his focus areas for Queens. I got to meet him, introduce myself to him. Also had the opportunity to meet the vice borough president and one of his chief of staff and just give some ideas of what our Queens schools will need, especially the funding. And we're in the process of having a ribbon cutting for a pizzeria culinary program that he actually just funded and is going to start building at 993Q, which is Principal Longshine School. On 2/11, I visited 277Q, observing students. We started as superintendent instructional rounds because we know that our chancellor's focus is math. So I started that. We selected 4 different schools in 4 different boroughs. And we have a variety of principals that travel with Dr. Huggard and I, and Dier, who's the director of STEM. And we are going into classrooms, really honing into math to see what math looks like for our students with disabilities and how we can definitely support the students. So when I get to that table with the superintendents, I can definitely speak to what D75 is doing. We also was able to see a Lego session, which is awesome program at 277Q, and she has a lot of great programs happening there. And that was our first school visit, and we will be visiting more. On 2/12, I had the opportunity to visit 186X with Sarah, which the principal's name is Sarah Templeman, and her students. And we had a wonderful, it was actually her PPO. And it was that site, that school is very collaborative. A lot happening in there. They have a wonderful Wilson reading intervention program happening of how they're teaching students how to read. And they have a lot of SEL programs happening in that school. So she has she's always thinking of doing something different. So if you ever get an opportunity to visit 186X, please stop by. I next stopped off at 12X, where I saw Dr. Jones, and she showcased her incredible pantry, her community-based program, her dance room, and her innovative hydroponics program. So we had a wonderful visit. That was another PPO. So as you see, I've been really hitting those different boroughs and having a good time with the principals. 2/24, I had the pleasure of visiting 596X, where that was my first time visiting Principal Syracuse School. The students were engaged. I saw a wonderful student government group, and they showcased a Lego club. So one thing with his building, it's very interactive in the hallway. So when students are in the hallway, they have various things to do in the hallway. Just love the energy, the feeling that I got when I was there, and you can see that learning is truly happening, and great things are happening at 596X. The same day, I went right across and I visited 176X. And at that school, a lot of success, it's more middle school and high school. So we talked a lot about her pathways to graduation, GED program. She's really pushing students to get that GED, and she even is going to be starting a pre-GED program. She also has a beautiful culinary program that she's happening, Dr. Alex, that she started. I spoke to the culinary teacher, and I even spoke to some of the students, and they were so proud to tell me that they were baking brownies and how they deliver. They have like an in-house Uber going on. And they deliver all of the different foods to the different people who come to the culinary store and purchase. So wonderful, wonderful program happening there. To February 26th. I attended a Read and Write Champions training where two different schools actually shared their experience in implementing the program. So I met with the program leaders. We had a virtual meeting, and then I just wanted to learn some more about the program. And I happened to see 94M and 4K. They shared their experience of how they're implementing the program and how it's benefiting students. So more to come on that. February 27th, I took a trip to 721X where I visited Principal Sarah Bias, and she has a lot of in-house and work study programs to enhance students' skills in meaningful ways. One of the wonderful things I love about this school is the way she utilizes her related service providers and how she really has them within the school community. So they're not just being pulled out or even just pushed into the classroom, but they're in the school store, they're in the pantry, they're all over, and it's really some great things that are happening with students, and the students are proud. They also, I also did the morning announcement with one of the students. So we did a videotaping. They did a little bit of interviewing. We did the Pledge of Allegiance. So they got me working when I got there. I didn't know I was going there to work in that way, but it was a great time with the students, and we had a lot of fun. On February 28th, we held our first Superintendent Advisory Council meeting where we are looking at the mission, the vision, and the tagline. We will be bringing it to President Christie and the council so you guys can have a voice in that once we put it together. It was a great visit. It's being led by Sequoia, who works very closely with the school. So more to come with that. Next slide, please. Let's see, February 25th, we kicked off a United Basketball League in partnership with Sony and the New York Knicks at Murrow High School, hosted our annual UBL clinic. Over 20 teams have been invited to participate. March 2nd, launch of our annual middle school and high school basketball league in partnership with Sony. And March 7th, opening of season 3 of the United Basketball League. QHST, Hunters Point, Maspeth High School, and Murrow High School will host weekly league games. The championship tournament is scheduled for Saturday, March 18th. Next slide, please. Attendance. So our attendance right now is 81.9%. Marie Levesque is doing a wonderful job. She actually just had an attendance meeting at the district office where I had the opportunity to come on and just speak to all of the attendance teachers and really tell them thank you for all that they do and the hard work that they do, and to make sure that they are continuing to get our students in school, and if not, supporting them through the process of why they're not in school and how to get them in school. Also letting them know that we have the OPT district support staff, which is Minnie and and Miss Ortega, Jackie Ortega, who is at the district office to support with OPT ridershare and any concern, any issues that the students are having to get to school. So she's checking in on the school. She's meeting with the different attendance teacher leads and making sure those attendance team meetings are happening weekly at the various schools. So right now we are at 81.9%. Next slide, please. Congratulations to one of our own, Victor. I don't want to say that last name because I don't want to mess it up. So I'll call him Victor P from 993Q. He's a PE teacher and Special Olympics coach. He was nominated for this year's NYC Coach of the Year. So we're hoping that he wins. I happened to talk to Jonathan, that's the principal of the school. I actually visited his school. He has a really great school too. I went to the Motion Picture Technical High School where our students are actually learning how to do filming and how to really get into how to do a motion picture. So great things are happening there. And they actually videoed me there too. So I go to these schools. I guess I always have to be ready because you just never know. But he was very proud to say that his PE teacher is doing a great things. And we're hoping that he wins. So, more to come with that. If he wins, we're definitely going to celebrate. And if not, he was nominated. So that's just as good too for Coach of the Year. Next slide, please. I want to shout out Assistant Principal McCoy. She's from 373K. I happened to meet her and I was like, oh, you're McCoy. I'm McCoy. Great. And the transitional coordinator, Jasmine at 373 the Brooklyn Transition Center for Exceptional Guardianship seminar that they hosted. It was truly dynamic. As a transitional high school, the work happening there is exceptionally meaningful as it prepares students with academic, social, and life skills. So I visited this school. They have a podcast. They have a printing shop. They have a culinary program. They have a beautification room where they're teaching students how to do hair. They also did an interview when I got there. So I'm just saying some great things. I go to these schools and I'm just blown away. So that's it for me. Thank you guys. As I say, I always say I love my job. I love what I do. I love visiting the schools and building those priorities. And always there's more to come. And I just thank you guys for tonight and for letting me share out tonight. I turn it over to you, Dr. Marlin.
Thank you so much, Dr. McCoy. Parent leaders, council, District 75 team, it's always a pleasure to be in this space with you all. Just want to share a few updates. I just want to say that as we visit schools, I'm just excited and amazed at the work that's happening across our schools. I'm amazed at how intentional our school leaders are with putting systems and structures in place to support our students. Recently, I went to 721Q, Principal Henry Villanless School, and I had an opportunity to speak and talk to his tier 3 students that are actively engaged in community-based integration, work-based learnings, part-time community-based learning partnerships at his high schools, and just listening to how enthused and motivated the students were to be able to leave their sites and come over to the high school to take part and job readiness skills across the high school. I mean, students were so excited. They shared with me that they're learning so many different skills when it comes to employment. One of the students actually stated that based on the work site, the work that they're doing and the skills that they're learning at the high school, they were able to actually get permanent employment after school and on the weekend. So I was excited to meet with Henry, speak with his students, his staff members. I also went over to 4Q. That's led by Principal Stephen Reese. And I was able to spend time in Principal Stephen Reese classrooms. I was able to sit with some of his teacher teams. And what really got me is I always say that there's nothing like the power of collaboration. I was just so excited to sit in a space with Principal Reese and listen to him meet with his school leadership team and share best practices around curriculum and things that they do at the school to drive student achievement. They went through Sandy assessments, they went through ABLES, they went through HMH, they went through Retopia Go. I mean, they just went through all of the different curricula that they have at the school with the school leadership team, and also opened the space up for some upcoming professional development for the school leadership team to attend so that they could get that real hands-on with the curriculum rather than just them speaking about it and talking about it. They're going to actually now bring the school leadership team in and really give them hands-on training as it relates to the different assessments and the different curricula that they use across their school community. I went over to 9Q to Principal Marsha Steinberg School. And just spending time at Principal Marsha Steinberg School, and I know this is her 5th year. Dr. McCoy actually just approved her tenure. It was amazing to see the work happening at Principal Steinberg School. Principal Steinberg took me into her performing arts space. I saw the students beating on the drums, creating music for an upcoming performance. And I also had an
Else
opportunity.
calling me. I can't answer. No.
I also had an opportunity to visit her math lab. We went
You are
to
not
the
speaking.
math
You want
lab,
to
and I've
mute.
never seen a math lab such as this. She actually has cycling bikes. You could see the picture in the PowerPoint. She has cycling bikes throughout her entire math lab. And she just got the bikes in not too long ago. And her idea is that as the students come in to learn math, they're going to have the opportunity to do cycling while learning math. So I was excited to see that. I mean, that's just out of the box, innovative thinking. I also went over to 77K, where I spent time with Principal Ebony Russell, and I learned about a Finally Fit wellness check-in program she brought into the school. Principal Russell leaned into making sure that her staff members are well in order to get the best for the students. In order for them to put their best foot forward, she brought in like a mental health and a wellness program for staff members to be able to check in each morning and to talk about how they're feeling, to talk about their emotions prior to working with the babies. And she said that that was important for her because she wanted to make sure she had the best adults in the classrooms before her students. And we also spent time in her school store. She has a school store, and again, at her site, students are actually learning job readiness skills, what it means to run a school store, what it means to do culinary work.
One second, Dr. Hoggard. We're at time, so I would ask President Angel to please extend the time if permissible. You could go ahead, Dr. Hoggard.
Okay. Thank you. I'm ready for the next slide. Yeah. And then just to keep everybody in the loop, we have our 10th annual STEM Fair coming up. We're excited about it. We're going to be back at the American Museum of Natural History. The STEM Fair is going to take place on Wednesday, March 18th from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And we have a large volume of participants, and we just wanted to put out there that parents are definitely welcome to attend. Please, any parents that want to attend, please speak with your school about traveling as a chaperone. You could also take part and support the STEM Fair by volunteering for the event from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock. On May 19th, we have an upcoming Lego League Expo, so we're also excited to showcase that event. Next slide. And then for Bravo Moments, I was at a meeting not long ago with principal of 188X, Shani Johnson. And Shani Johnson came to me and said, about 3 years ago, you made a connection for me and my students with school food services. And she said, through that connection, one of my students recently got a permanent job with school food services. Her student, Asif, she said, Asif actually came to the school a few weeks ago just to visit the school and said to Principal Johnson, look, I can't stay long. I got to get back to work, but I just wanted to come say hello to you and just to let you know that everything is okay. I am now working permanently with school food services. So I just want to thank you, Principal Johnson, for the opportunity. So it was good for me to see that, just knowing that connections that we made a few years back, there was actually something that came from that connection. So I just wanted to say that was a moment for me. And I just want to shout out Principal Shani Johnson, because a lot of times when we make recommendations, we put things out there, and just to see the principal actually take the ball and run with it and make sure that her students actually benefited from the process, I was excited to see. And also this week, just to talk when we talk about the power of collaboration, just this week we went to a ribbon cutting ceremony at D79 schools that partnered with our 754X school and our 188X school. Is an adult learning program. So our 754X program partnered with D79, the adult learning program in the South Bronx. So our 754X parents and other parents are now going to have the opportunity to participate in an adult learning program. So they'll have the opportunity to go back to school and get the credentials that they seek to in order to move to the next step. And I don't know, Dr. McCoy, if you touched on it, but Dr. McCoy and we had an opportunity to visit 469X today for their ribbon cutting ceremony. It was an amazing ribbon cutting ceremony for their new site. The students from all of the sites came out. They had music. They had a live DJ. They had guest speakers. They actually had the community school that they're co-located with students come out to read poems and do poetry for our students. They're also talking about the community school students doing read alouds to our babies at the 469X new site. So we had I would say we had a great couple of months. We're excited about the work that's happening across our school communities. We look forward to what's ahead. We always say strong start, strong finish. So as we get through the next couple of months, we'll be sure to keep everybody in the loop and be sure to share all updates and best practices with you all. Thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to pass it over to our family leadership coordinator, Nora.
Good evening, families. I just want to say thank you for giving us this space. And I just want to say thank you for Michelle to trying to say my last name. Much appreciated. I just gave you my hearts on the page. We're doing a lot in District 75 in regards to family engagement. I'm going to quickly just review what we have done and what we're looking forward to doing. First of all, yesterday, we had the March into NICSA. Well, in this page, we're talking about the District 75 Family Leadership Coordinator office hours. We've had 2 sessions already, and I want you to know that it has been such a positive meeting. We have parent association leaders coming to these meetings, asking questions. It's an informal space, but it's an opportunity to come together and just review things that maybe you have a thought about, maybe you have a question, maybe you have a doubt. This is the space to do it. Anything regarding parent leadership, this is the time. We support each other. We've been working with each other. The first session, we went over that interim financial form. The last session, we talked about banking and the challenges that some of our PAs have been having in establishing these accounts, best practices. It's been really great sessions. I'm looking forward to building upon it. I do have 2 sessions scheduled for March, and we hope that if, as parent leaders, that you join us. It's really a space for us to come together as parent leadership and family support staff to be able to work together to resolve any issues or concerns, or just answer a question, or to hear each other out. Sometimes just hearing each other out and what's happening in different boards. You're not isolated. You have the support that you need. This page. March 7th, on Saturday, we have the family peer group. I welcome you all to attend. It's an excellent space to make connections with other families. We're in person. There's interpretation services. We have lunch. We have free raffles. And most importantly, we have these 3 sessions where we focus on wellness. We're focusing on spring and new beginnings this year. Really lucky and fortunate to have CCD 75 President Christy Angel do a digital ambassadorship program for our families. Our families walk out of there connected to Google Classroom and getting it from the parent perspective of, hey, this is what we need to think about. This is what we need to talk about. This is what you should know, so that way you can support your child. And then New York City Schools account. And then understanding your IEP. If you ever had questions about your child's IEP, Include NYC is going to facilitate an entire hour of what is an IEP, what do you need to be looking at, and again, with interpretation services, you're going to have this ability to participate in your language for the purposes of being able to support your families and your children. So yesterday, March 3rd, was our March into NICSA event. We had almost 200 families join us between the 2 sessions. The first session was a little shaky because the internet, for some reason, was not our friend, and parent coordinators started dropping from the call. But it was a great workshop, and we reviewed the importance of having a New York City Schools account. We reviewed the benefits of having a New York City Schools account. How do you open up a New York City Schools account? And then we attempted for the parent coordinators to make those connections with the parents in the meeting and provided a form document, so that way, if there were any parents who couldn't connect with their PC at the time, they could do so afterwards. It's been reported to me by parent coordinators that they have made these connections with the parents. And so hopefully after yesterday's meeting, we will schedule additional meetings for the purposes of ensuring that all of our families have New York's open and accessible New York City Schools account. As parent leaders, if you are a parent association, president, treasurer, secretary, potential parent leaders. This is the time for elections. This is election season. We're going to get back to basics, families. We're going to do parent elections 101 on March 17th at 12 p.m. and at 6 p.m. We're just going to review what's a nominating committee. Who can run for these positions? We're just going to get back to basics so that way we can ensure that we establish these boards by June. We want to make sure that each of our schools have established board, and that we know what the roles and responsibilities of these positions are. In terms of our district comprehensive educational plan, something that we're really proud and really excited to introduce this year, our Family Engagement Office and the Office of Multilingual Learners we're collaborating, and we're providing opportunities for Spanish-speaking families in the Bronx to participate in an 8-week series. It's an intergenerational series where the parent works with the student, and it's basically an opportunity for them to be proud of their Latino culture. It's cooking, it's working together. It's an 8-week session, and we're working with Gen Connect to provide this programming. If you know any family that's interested in participating in this program, please be sure to share this flyer, share this information, share this registration. It's an excellent opportunity. Childcare and lunch will be provided as well. On March 28th, I just want to invite all of our families to the Queens Mindfulness Stress-Free Saturday. The event was a hit in the Bronx. It's coming to Queens at 233Q. The initiative is designed to reduce stress, to promote wellness, to give back to you as families in partnership with the Queens Borough President Donovan Richards Jr. We hope you can come. There are so many agencies and organizations, including the Digital Ambassadorship Program that President Christy Angel is facilitating, YAFA, wellness, so much more. You'll have this opportunity to really focus on yourselves as parents. We know that there's so much going on, and this is for you, so that way you can decompress and then be ready for your families. Community Mayor's Sleepaway Camp. This is an opportunity. If you haven't applied, please complete the application. It's on the deck that's going to be shared with the council. If you feel that you would like to participate in this opportunity, more information will be provided to you by your parent coordinator, as this is an application that you can get from your parent coordinator. And you can email Patricia Oliver at poliver11@schools.nyc.gov. And really, it's an opportunity for you to get free summer program for your child. It's a sleepaway camp. Summarizing. We know the applications have gone out today. They went out today, closes March 27th. There are District 75 hubs. In regards to District 75, if your child, and I want to share this because we shared this yesterday during the New York City Schools account meetings. First, you must have a My Schools account. If you do not have a My Schools account, please reach out to your school parent coordinator so that way they can support you in opening up a My Schools account. As you're saying to me, Nora, is this different than the NYCSA? You've been promoting NYCSA. So I just want to share that the difference between the two accounts is that NYCSA is for your child's educational information, biographical, phone number, address, IEP, transportation. My Schools is specific to enrollment and summarizing. If you are going to fill out a summarizing application, please do so in My Schools account. If you do not have an account, please reach out to your parent coordinator. One last note, please be mindful that when you go into My Schools, know the language in terms of what District 75 summer program is. We are Chapter 683. If you decline Chapter 683 services, okay, your child would not go to their District 75 school over the summer, okay? You will then be given the opportunity to apply for a full-day summer rising program. But I want you all to be aware that District 75 staff will not be supporting the full-day program. They will only be supporting the District 75 summer rising hubs. Okay, so parents, there were a few parents who last year, they completed the application and they accidentally declined Chapter 683. What ends up happening is that your child is
Laura, we
pulled
do
out of the
have a
program.
1 minute warning that we have to wrap up a little bit so we don't have the members in the building.
I just want to make everybody sure. Thank you, Christy. I just want to make sure that everybody knows not to decline it. Don't decline it. If your intention is to put your child in the District 75 program, do not decline Chapter 683 as you will not receive busing. And I'm telling you that July 1st will roll around, the July program will roll around and you will not have busing. It will take 2 weeks to receive the service, okay? So that's it. Thank you so much, CCD 75. I know we went over our time, but there's so much of great information to share.
That's the wonderful part about it. At least we will have it up on CCD 75 Outreach on YouTube for any parents that have missed it. You miss a little, miss a lot, but we make sure that you have the information. Seeing that we are moving past time and we are going backwards to give Second Vice President Bonilla room to put in her resolution, I am going to forego my president's updates. I will make sure to send that out to our listserv and or post it online so that we have a physical copy of the items that I was going to update the council with. With that being said, we're now going to move into Vice President Bonilla's safety resolution. After that, we will then move into public comment and adjournment of the meeting. Vice President Bonilla, you have the floor. Councilmember White or Anthony, can you please pull her? Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And for your transparency for the meeting minutes, I would like to make record that I shared this item of safety resolution on January 21st, 2026, given to the council, and no feedback or suggestion was given back.
I would like to
Inclusion
piggyback that in the original
and inclusion of
in the
citywide.
original resolution, just for record, we did note this. We did say we needed edits, and edits were not sent to the council. That's why we are not prepared presently for the resolution, but we would like to go ahead and read it. Thank you so much.
So what I was saying, and after that, edits were requested as to what edits was needed, and no edits were sent back. So the resolution is being presented as it was initially sent out to the council.
Were we, just quickly,
The
Vice President Bonilla,
inclusion, I would like to
I
move
just wanted,
forward,
not
please,
to
point of
interrupt
order.
briefly, because we want to make sure that we are being transparent with our members and the
And we
community.
are, that's why I'm
As
stating the date
forgive
of
me
the
for
record.
just, I want to be able to speak really quickly. Thank you. I did state that there were certain specifics that we could not do in the resolution. I stated that in the meeting. Were those items able to be edited with what I presented to you that needed to not be in it?
And that's what I'm saying. I asked what items do specifically need to be changed.
The ones
And
that,
those
okay,
items
so
were never
what I'm hearing you
sent
say is
over.
that when we give you something verbally in a meeting, you also need that given to you in the meetings or in writing to help you assist move forward versus a verbal.
If you're trying
so
to
in the
make a
meeting.
suggestion, yes, because if not, it won't be acknowledged, and I could just move on with my resolution motion.
Council members, please let me know if you have feedback regarding that, and let's move forward with the resolution. Thank you.
There was no resolution previous to this, and I would like to move forward. Thank you. Inclusion of citywide council and community education council members in school safety meetings, required org state of review, and school safety town halls. Whereas the safety, physical well-being, emotional health, and dignity of all students and school staff are fundamental responsibilities of the New York City public school system. And whereas school safety meetings with principals and relevant stakeholders are essential forums for reviewing emergency preparedness, crisis response protocols, supervision plans, building conditions, school climate, and student safety concerns. And whereas pursuant to New York State Education Law 2590E citywide councils and community education councils are duly elected, led advisory bodies established to represent families, advise the chancellor, and promote transparency and accountability within New York Department of Education. And whereas city education councils, including the Citywide Council for District 75, CCD 75, Citywide Council of Special Education, CCSE, and Citywide Council on High Schools, CCHS, provide system expertise related to students with disability, accessibility, inclusion, transition, age, youth, and high school communities. And move up, please. Slide. Thank you. Whereas community education councils, CECs, serve as district level parent leadership bodies that engage with families, schools, superintendents, and the Department of Education on matters impacting school communities. And whereas Chancellor's Regulations 414 school safety plans and related Department of Education guidance require ongoing coordination, communication, and review of school safety practices, including considerations for students with disability, medical fragile students, and slide. Thank you. And students requiring accommodations pursuant to their individualized educational program, IEP. And whereas District 75 programs and other specialized programs are frequently co-located within shared school buildings, creating complex safety conditions that require coordinated planning across multiple schools, principals, and student populations. And whereas the objective reporting and case systems orgs in the Department of Education's official system for documenting, tracking school safety incidents, and regular review of ORC's data is essential to identifying trends, addressing systematic concerns, and improving the safety of outcomes. And whereas in the meaningful safety planning requires regularly scheduled meetings, timely communication of meeting dates and times, and opportunity for broader communication, broader community engagement through our school safety town halls. And whereas families elected parent leaders have raised ongoing concerns regarding limited transparency, inconsistent communication, exclusion of councils from safety discussions, and the absence of consistent data-driven review of data incidents. And whereas including citywide council and CEC members from school safety meetings and failing to review aggregated ORC's data undermines meaningful parent engagement and limits council's ability to fulfill their statutory advisory responsibilities. Therefore, be it resolved that the citywide council members, including representatives from Citywide Council, CCD 75, CCSE, and CCHS, and Community Education Council members should be permitted and encouraged to participate in school safety meetings with principals and other relevant stakeholders within their respective districts and school communities. And be it further resolved that such participation should be in advisory, collaborative, and non-disciplinary capacity, focus on system levels, safety planning, policy implementation, and community feedback, and should not include discussion of individual student records or personal matters. And be it further resolved that school safety meetings should be held no less than once per month during the school year and should include principals and relevant stakeholders with participation by a designated citywide council and CEC members. And be it further resolved that the school should share their scheduled dates and times of monthly school safety meetings with citywide councils, community education councils in advance. With reasonable notice, shall promptly communicate any changes to meetings and schedule. OIC's data review requirement. Be there further resolved that school safety meetings should include a review of objective reporting and case system, OIC's data presented in aggregated and de-identified form, including at minimum a total of numbers of ORCS incidents report for the current month and the total of ORCS incidents reported to the date of the year to the date, and be it further resolved that ORCS data review shall focus on patterns, trends, and building-wide safety concerns, including impacts on co-located schools, District 75 programs, shared spaces, supervision, and student supports, and should not include individual student or personal information. And be it further resolved that each school and shared school building should host at least one school safety town hall per school year, and additional town halls as needed significant safety incidents and concerning trends identified through ORC's data. Be it further resolved that the school safety town halls should be publicly communicated to families, parent associations, school leadership teams, citywide councils, and community education councils should address building-wide safety practices, emergency preparedness, aggregated org trends, mental health support, and accessibility and considerations. Be it further resolved that further failure to comply with this resolution include failure to hold required monthly safety meetings, failure to share meeting dates and times, failure to review required org data, failure to conduct required safety meetings, town halls may be escalated for review and corrective of action to the district superintendent, the office of school safety, or the chancellor or designee. And be it finally resolved that the school level implementation protocol for citywide council and communication education council participation in school safety meetings should be attached to the incorporated by reference into this resolution and compliance within the protocol with this resolution. Second, I'm introducing this resolution.
I see an issue with the interpretation. I'm sorry, Councilmember Rivera, the Spanish
Thank you,
interpreter.
guys. We want to continue to keep this germane. I myself and Anthony are working on that back end. Thank you so much, Councilmember.
Thank you so much.
I'll keep interpreting in the line, so it's okay.
I'm introducing this resolution because the safety of District 75 students must always remain our highest priority. Many of our students have complex needs and rely on adult systems and policies to ensure they're protected in every school environment. When safety concerns arise, it's the responsibility of the council to advocate for clear communication, accountability, preventive measures that protect students and staff. This resolution is not about assigning blame, but about strengthening the systems to keep our children safe and ensuring families know the concerns are heard and addressed. As representative of D75, I would like to elevate this. And thank you for letting me share.
As we know, it is Ramadan. We have a few members that are looking forward to break the fast. council members, we have the resolution that is uplifted before us again. I will go ahead and repeat the items that I mentioned before that we do need to adjust. We as a council can advise, but we cannot mandate school procedures. We cannot require meetings. We cannot direct principals, and we cannot enforce a principal's compliance. So there's different levels of wording, mandating frequency of meetings, saying that we shall be permitted or encouraged to participate. We have to remember, guys, these are legal documents, so we have to make sure that we're really clear about what it is that we want, and we cannot put language in that we can't do, such as stating that this is for CCSE or for other CECs. What we can do is formulate this for our council and make sure after we have it set with the correct language that we pass it to the other CECs and say, hey, this is really important to us. We love you to adopt this resolution as well so we can have unity within numbers. So just with that enforcement language, the mandating the town halls and doing the things that we cannot do as council members, which or as a council period, and some of this would be changing education law. We want to
The
make sure
man,
that we're asking for the correct items. Do we have any other council members who want to give any feedback? Vice President Gomez, yes, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Angel. First and foremost, I want to commend, Second Vice President Bonilla for working on this. It's a very noble and honorable gesture in terms of, making sure that all of our students are safe. Not just the ones in District 75. So I think that resonates with, all members who are here present. However, the resolution does need to be tweaked. It needs some work. I believe that because the council is primarily comprised of at least half of us are new members, and half of the members have been in the council before or appointed, I think it will behoove the members to have perhaps a presentation on the subject matter of safety in schools, and in particular the DOE, and relative to the safety protocols within the DOE structure for District 75 students, and perhaps task public safety in coordination with people from the FACE office and the district to provide that presentation so that we could all have a better understanding of how the protocols are, so that way VP Bonilla is better informed and could actually include the feedback that we are providing to her, because it does need considerable tweaking, as we are not able to include other council members within the realm of this resolution. So again, I just wanted to put out there that it's a very noble and honorable gesture from council member Second Vice President Bonilla to actually work on this. So I just wanted to say that.
Do we have any other members that would like to give feedback for resolution? This would be resolution 29.
Not on the resolution.
No, not at this
Vice
time.
President Bonilla, I see your hand raised. You have the floor again.
yes, thank you. I appreciate VP Vasco Gomez mentioning about having a presentation. As the chair of safety committee, we have been having these presentations of the process and protocols, and this resolution is aligned with the regulations to safety. So the monthly meeting, we're not mandating them. This is something they're supposed to do. We're enforcing that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Well,
The
it says
only thing
failure
that
to
I'm
comply with this
requesting,
resolution. Some of
the
that
only
language
thing,
saying failure. I'm sorry to overtalk you. Go ahead.
the only thing I was requesting that that for us to be added to safety meetings and again, it goes back to the regulations. It states that community members are allowed to go to these safety meetings, but we're not being invited. So that was
That
why
would
I
be
added those.
more so of a space. Like, I would say we can definitely figure this out. We don't want to have anyone be disenfranchised, right? That's for certain. We want to make sure that we're using the correct language as we move this forward. And so I would personally want to go through it a little bit more so that we tighten it up, and then we can vote on it and have other CECs duplicate it.
I agree, and I would like that when we have safety meetings, and Ms. Tara, I'm planning for the safety director for D75 to come in. I hope that some of the council members could join. That way they could have better knowledge of what is entailed in the safety for all of the schools and for the DOE.
Thank you so much. Guys, seeing that it is Ramadan, we're about to be put out of the building. I do want to move into for our parents that are here and council members. If you have anything under new business, this is where we're going to put agenda items. In the new business, anything that you have now. If not, please give us agenda item 72 hours before the meeting. Councilmember
yes.
Rivera, did you want to have the floor before we go into public comment?
Hi, yes, absolutely. I want to add two things. So one, I would love if we can add maybe navigating our site to our digital ambassadorship. I know there's a lot of parents that want to stay up to date with us. Sometimes they can't make meetings. So maybe being able to best navigate our site and also access all of our videos. I do know that legally our videos have to be up within 5 days of a meeting occurring. And I do know there was a mention.
That would be the I think it's more the minutes because technically, yeah, I hear you. But yeah, we can always add it's a one-stop shop. Adding that to them accessing, we can. Generally, we do walk through our website for every digital ambassador's in person.
Right. And I do know there was a mention about, some of the content that Ms. Bonilla had been presenting within her committee as well. So I know some of it had been addressed. So yeah, I know the videos are helpful.
Can you say more? Which the resolution was not uplifted in the safety meeting, and for any council members, if you would like to review the safety meeting, it is on CCD 75 outreach. And otherwise, as we move with council members, when we do our committee meetings, let's make sure we're updating all of the things that are prominent, such as even our joint public hearings. You guys, you did see that. Please look at what's in front of you. If you can jump on those joint public hearings, that will be added to our council calendar. Those things are available. All of the people who are on, we do have social media, we do have CCD 75, and we do have outreach. Those items do go out in our CCD 75 outreach blast. We will continue to move and try to do better to make sure that everyone has equal access to our digital spaces. We now move into public comment for.
And I had
one moment,
other
please. We want to make
question.
sure to give the floor to additional members.
We have
Councilmember
about
White.
5 minutes. 5 minutes in the building.
Yes.
Sure, yes. So
one moment, please.
my
We want to
last-
make sure that every Councilmember Rivera, we have to make sure that we give everybody equal space. So we want to make sure that the other hands that are raised are able to go because we do have to leave the building. Councilmember White.
Councilmember Akhtar would like to speak.
Masuma Akhtar. You have the floor.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Council Member Masuma, CCD 75. Actually, my comments was towards the superintendent report. So I truly appreciate hearing about the success in the district and the great things happening in our school. And it is encouraging as a parent to know there are strong programs and positive outcomes being achieved. At the same time, I'm wondering about the schools that may be facing challenges. From a parent perspective, it's important to understand not only the highlights, but also the areas that need improvement. So I want to know what specific support are being put in place for the schools that are struggling, how is progress being measured, and how are families kept informed about these efforts. Because transparency around both success and challenges help parents feel informed, involved, and confident that every child in every school is receiving attention and support they deserve. So I just want to make sure that all schools are getting equal attention. And they don't have to answer it today. It can be for our next meeting. I just want to put it out there. That should be about it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Do we have any additional items that need to be added on our agenda? I do see Stephen Mahoney. You have your hand raised. You do have the floor.
Yes, I can just pick up my voice.
Yes.
Okay, quickly, summer enrichment program. I registered my son last night. It's not transparent there that it's an enrichment program. The child goes 8 to 2, his regular 75 school. Then the bus takes him to the enrichment site. In Brooklyn, we got 2 sites. one on Chester Street and one on, I think it's 74th Street. So that's not really brought to the parents' attention. And then now to get home from that second site, they do have something similar to Accessoride. And that's not really, we're not informing our parents, especially non-native English speakers. I was at a 231 meeting with some parents today, a Spanish-speaking woman, and yo estaba tratando para explicar a ella que ese está otro programa para los niños. So I have some Spanish, but it's not getting out there, my belief, in these other languages, because this was all new information for her. Because they think their kids are gonna be stranded at that other site. You gotta really, really bring that out. And to piggyback on the safety plan, the school did put out something early in the fall with their plan. And it seems for the summer time frame, for summer rising, both with our 75 kids in general education, I don't think they're doing any drills. And we got CBOs coming into our schools. Are they being trained? And you know, they're supposed to have, I think it's 3 drills by December. Well, you know what? For that 2 months in the summertime, let's get these kids, general ed, 75 kids, and the people helping them in the schools, because our school buildings are occupied by our babies, and we gotta keep them safe all year round. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, council members. Do we have any additional questions and or feedback? As always, if we do not, you can email the council at d75council@schools.nyc.gov. We do have one final remaining question from Council Member Rivera.
2 minutes.
You have the floor.
Yes, so the other motion I wanted to raise is, so we have not had our bylaws committee meeting yet. We are in March. We're almost closing out the year in June. That has not, to my knowledge, and I may be right or wrong, but that has not happened once this year. So I motioned for us to have that meeting.
Thank you. Prior to that, we want to say, council members, please have the understanding. We don't have to motion to have committee meetings. We simply have to do them. And when it comes to bylaws, we technically can go ahead and make motions to move forward. We do not have a chair for the bylaws committee. What we can do as council members is state that we want to have a meeting, pick that date, and then we pull that forward with the community.
Thank you.
Council members, that doesn't necessarily need a vote, but we can have it recognized that Council Member Bonilla would like to have a meeting that we set up for bylaws, so we can see how we can move forward to support that. If we do not have any other questions, do we have a motion to adjourn?
It was Councilmember Rivera, just for the record.
I'm sorry, who's speaking?
It was Councilmember Rivera, just for the record.
Oh, yes, we do have that. She was given the floor and it stated.
No,
So we're going to go ahead.
You stated Bonilla, so that's what I was
Sorry
kidding.
for that, but I thank you for the correction. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Councilmember White.
All right, do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you so much. We are adjourning our meeting at 8:31 p.m.
Who did the second one? Was it Rivera?
Yes.
Rivera.
Okay, thank you so much. We're adjourning at 8:31 p.m. and we are releasing our interpreters. Thank you guys so much. Get some food, guys. Get into the break. Stay warm. Thank you for your commitment to the work on the council. Let's meet on the back end so we can make sure we get a lot of work done within our committees and otherwise before the end of the year. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.